We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live!
Please remain silent while I am speaking. We have a lot to get through.
Put that cigarette out.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh my God, he's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
He's fat! You three guys want a war tonight? You got one! To beat a man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here!
Good evening, wrestling fans. It is Monday, December 30th, and we just finished watching the New Year's edition of Monday Night Raw, aired live from Richmond, Virginia, and we are airing live on Mega Powers Radio for the MPR Raw Post Show. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It was the final edition of Raw for 2013, and man, they packed the show with a lot of great things. We saw a surprise return of one of the biggest names in the family of the company, and speaking of families, we saw a new member joining the Wyatt family. More on that a little bit later, though. First off, I'll be leading the show tonight. Mr. Mike Paden, lead host of Keeping Kayfabe and station director here at Mega Powers Radio. Joining me tonight, I got a great cast of guys. Packed house tonight. First off, one of my usual fellas here, lead host of Smack Talk over on the Smart Out Moment brand and the president of Fanboys Anonymous, Mr. Tony Mango. What's shaking, Tony?
Not too much. Not too much. My head after the end of that episode a little bit.
Oh, that bad?
The end of it.
Oh, okay. Well, also with us here, we got the Bounce House Prince making his epic return to the Raw Post Show, Mr. Drew White. What's shaking, Drew?
What's shaking is my legs. That's what's shaking. How are you doing, Mr. Mike Paden?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking, Drew. You're always so considerate. And also with us, lead host of Unanimous Decision MMA, who I'm sure has a lot to talk about after this weekend's events, and also addicted to anime here in Mega Powers Radio, Mr. Stephen Wago. What's shaking, dude?
I'm good, man. Just tired after work, but I'm glad you guys told me what to skip from Raw tonight, because there was a lot of bad and a lot of good.
And also, finally, returning to the Raw Post Show, the most epic DJ man you're going to find in the bacon costume, Mr. Paul Hibbard. What's shaking, Paul?
Finally! Thank you, Mike. Thank you for using that. I really appreciate that. I'm doing good. We're coming up here New Year's Eve. We're going to be at Tailgaters in Muscadet, Wisconsin.
Well,
so
big night.
If you listen to this and you're around that area tomorrow night, we're going to be throwing it down. Tailgaters, be there.
It's the most important night to be a DJ, I hear. So good luck to you, man.
Hey.
And hey, let's start digging into tonight's show because, guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Just want to put it out to the listeners. If you want to call in at any point during the show, let us know what you thought about tonight's events on Monday Night Raw. You could do so area code 760-512-7247. You could also do so via Skype, hitting the little Skype icon on the broadcast page. And also, we have the chat room open. Mr. Stephen Wago holding down things in there for us. So please join us, and we'll be sure to get you involved with the conversation here. And in fact, we have a caller on the line. So let's bring him on here. Caller from the 228, you are live on Mega Powers Radio Raw Post Show. Can I have your name and where you're calling from?
Biloxi, Michael.
Michael from Biloxi. What's shaking, Michael?
I'm just kind of pissed about the Daniel Bryan stuff.
Holy cow, man. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dig into this. Let's set this up here. Daniel Bryan was put into a gauntlet match where he had to face all three members of the Wyatt family. Had a pretty decent match with Luke Harper, had a really short match with Erik Rowan, didn't even get to start the match with Bray Wyatt. Eventually they started the beatdown. Daniel Bryan finally giving in, saying, you were right, Bray Wyatt. You were right all along. I'm going to join you guys. And they had this really extended sequence of Daniel Bryan walking out, being conflicted with the fans chanting for him. And it almost looked like maybe he wasn't going to do it. But as we went off the air, Daniel Bryan walked behind the curtain with the rest of the Wyatt family. And I don't know, man, the whole scene gave me the Ghiblies. Caller, why don't you tell us more about it? How'd you feel about it?
I was kind of upset with it. I was like, really, Daniel? You can do better than this.
Well,
because everyone's going to not look at Daniel the same anymore.
No, Daniel Bryan is certainly going to be hurting his current repertoire that he has with the fans, but maybe it's new grounds. Maybe this can bring him to new heights because let's face it, where Daniel Bryan was with his current stature was not getting him too far, and there was a lot to be said about that. What he said in his speech.
Yeah, and the other thing is Brock Lesnar. Oh, so surprised seeing him back.
Absolutely. And my gosh, the beatdown that he laid on Mark Henry tonight, the picking him up on his shoulders, you almost had to wonder when they were setting this up. Like my friend made a funny joke saying, all right, Brock Lesnar's returning tonight. Who's going to get his ass kicked? Let's draw short straws. And there's like Mark Henry was the one who just picked a short straw because he seems so random. But then it's like Brock Lesnar had to be like, oh, I have to lift him. Because, man, gravity took its hold of Mark Henry as he came down, and he plowed into the ground after that F5 from Brock Lesnar, as well as doing their tackle through the barricade spot as well. Fantastic beatdown. Caller, are you excited for a potential Mark Henry versus Brock Lesnar match? I'm guessing we might see this at Royal Rumble.
I'm really thinking we might see it at WrestleMania too.
You think it's going to go all the way to WrestleMania, huh?
Yeah. Unless he feuds with Ryback or something like that.
Well, there's potential with that as well. So, caller, let me ask you one last question. What was your favorite part of Raw tonight, your high point of it, and what was your least favorite point of Raw tonight?
My high point, it will be Brock Lesnar returning. And my lowest will be Daniel Bryan.
Oh, wow. Hitting the high ones there. The big points tonight, I mean. So what did you think about like the Divas match? Were you captivated? Did it catch your attention?
Not really. Not really.
It was amazing. They actually told him out there to try wrestling tonight. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. All right, man. We appreciate you calling in, dude. Have a good night.
You too.
Appreciate everyone calling in here. Once again, the number you can do so, area code 760-512-7247 to join us here on the NPR Raw Post Show. So, guys, we were talking about our final segment we had with Daniel Bryan running off and joining the Wyatt family. So let's continue the conversation with the rest of you, gentlemen. Tony, as a man who has Daniel Bryan on his fantasy league team, what the hell is going on with this guy?
I don't know, because I also have Bray Wyatt. And I'm gonna rain a lot of praise on a lot of things that happened on this episode. I think this whole segment was stupid.
Oh.
I didn't like this at all. I thought the match was stupid, boring the entire time. The ending of it was awful, and the ending of the match itself, and the idea that they're teasing a Daniel Bryan heel turn and joining up with the Wyatt family. I think if they go through with that, it's beyond stupid. This is one of those mistakes that WWE's made in the past where they took somebody who was popular and they've gone, you know what? We never do this for John Cena, but we'll do it for this person. We'll turn them heel. That way they'll get a big reaction when we turn them heel, and it never works out the same. If they turn Daniel Bryan a heel, especially right now at WrestleMania time, where we could get a huge pop and everything for Daniel Bryan for Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, if they think that this is the time to turn him heel, it's going to backfire so much, and that's going to be the thing that kills Daniel Bryan.
Well, here's my question. What if he joins this family? He never turns heel per se. Let's say the fans just keep chanting yes and Daniel Bryan all throughout this, and it just keeps him conflicted. And this just goes on for a short term. I can't imagine this is going to be going on for very long. And perhaps by WrestleMania time, he is back to being his full Daniel Bryan babyface self.
If they do that, I just don't know if they would set that up in enough time to give him a decent match at WrestleMania. Because if it leads to Bray Wyatt against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, that's awful.
Well, if you believe the Scoops reports, it's looking like Bray Wyatt's going to be in the main event with John Cena.
Yeah, I don't believe that for one fucking minute. I'll believe that the same as when I believe that Darren Young's going to get the push to the main event, or that we're going to see, El Torito in a big fucking spot or something. I don't believe that.
Well, Scoops was also reporting that Brock was returning to the UFC, and by the looks of it tonight, I think they're a bit wrong.
Wah, wah. So, Mr. Paul Hibbard, making your return tonight, I definitely want to ask you, I know you got very upset throughout the summer at the treatment of Daniel Bryan. In fact, I think you went on a long hiatus because of it. So what do you see as this for Daniel Bryan? Do you see as this potential for new horizons, or do you think this is a mistake like Tony? Not saying Tony was a mistake. I'm saying Tony also thinks it's a mistake.
No. I totally, I agree with a lot of the stuff that Tony had to say. First of all, I want to say I went on a long hiatus because I got freaking plowed at work. I got scheduled 6 days a week, and then I have the DJ job. I had absolutely no time to sleep, so I'm sorry I've been away, but that is why I've been gone. But this whole Daniel Bryan turning to the Bray Wyatt thing, Tony, they've already announced that Randy Orton will face John Cena at the Royal Rumble for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then Brock Lesnar came out tonight and said that he was the honorary #1 contender to whoever got through that whole match. So what else are they going to have Daniel Bryan do? They can't just automatically insert him into the WWE Unified Championship picture. Why not have him join the Wyatt, maybe betray him a little, and then have him come to this big conflict with the leader, Bray Wyatt, at WrestleMania? That looks like a pretty good storyline to me.
I think there's potential for all this here, and I would definitely want to see what the future holds for Daniel Bryan. Oh my goodness, the boards are lighting up, so why don't we go ahead and get these people here. We got 2 callers on the line. I'm going to ask that they both be patient. I'm going to bring this first one on here. We got a caller from 817. Caller from 817, you're on the Mega Powers Radio Raw post show. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Bryan.
Oh, Bryan Biner. Bryan the Brain. What's shaking, dude?
Yeah, this is what my take on the Daniel Bryan situation. Just gonna go ahead and get it off my mind right away. This is why Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania might happen for the savior of Daniel Bryan. Cena comes in, takes on Bray Wyatt to save Daniel Bryan from the Wyatt family.
I don't know if there's so many possibilities for this, and right now this thing is, I gotta digest it. This really kind of took me by surprise.
Well, you know what? I actually kind of I don't like it. I don't love it, but I'm not that much bad of a. I'm probably more of a fan of it than most of you guys are.
Oh, I liked it actually.
Where
I just got to figure out my feelings.
See where WWE writing's trying to go, because it's kind of like, realistically, with Brock Lesnar coming back, with Batista coming back, don't we have somewhere where Daniel Bryan needs to be? I mean, somewhere in the title run. I mean, but the problem is now you got 2 more big guys that are coming in too. I mean, it's like, realistically, it's almost like they're pushing Daniel Bryan back to mid-cards. It's almost like they're pushing CM Punk back to mid-card.
I wouldn't say that, man. I think because they're at the stature that they are, if anything, they're staying where they are, but they're helping bring these other people up. They're helping bring guys like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to a higher level, and now Daniel Bryan's helping Bray Wyatt get to that next level, which only makes me further believe that there is possibly just a hint of clout to this Bray Wyatt versus John Cena thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, they're setting it up now. I mean, we still have the Royal Rumble and we still have Elimination Chamber. So it's like, we're thinking Randy Orton's going to be the world title holder until WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that much a fan of Randy Orton or Batista or even Brock Lesnar. It's like, these guys have had their shots. They've quit. They've gone their other way. Not Randy Orton, but Batista and Brock Lesnar. We don't need them back. We need to worry about the future. Worry about Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose.
So I'm guessing you were not happy about the return of Brock Lesnar tonight.
No, it's kind of boring to me. It's like it's been. He didn't do anything in 2012 or 2013. I mean, it's like. So what's he going to do, stand around to lose again all year long in the pay-per-view season? I mean, what are you paying him for? Just his name? And is that it? Because if you're going to do that, go ahead, go give Hulk Hogan his $30 million or whatever he wants for 5 years. And
I think at this point, Brock Lesnar has much more value than Hulk Hogan. Much more. Because
I don't think
well, let's see how'd Hulk Hogan do for TNA?
What is a TNA?
Let me just say that TNA is running a pay-per-view recording about 20 minutes from where I am sitting in my home, and I chose not to go. I decided to watch Raw and do the show with you guys tonight instead. I could be at a pay-per-view.
Are you serious? Are you serious right now?
Yeah, they're filming one night only at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. I was gonna go.
You didn't try to get those free tickets.
I honestly was gonna call and be like, so it's about an hour till doors. Do you have like tickets for like $5 yet?
No, they were probably giving them away yesterday. That's usually what TNA does.
TNA would be like $5. We'll give you 20 if you come.
And we'll put you in the front row, camera side. It'll be great. We haven't sold a single ticket.
You know, and I thought I laughed hard when I saw Final Resolution on Spike TV. Oh God!
All right, Brian. I don't want to rush you. We do got another caller on the line, so I want to get them on. So let me ask you your high point and your low point for tonight's Monday Night Raw.
High points. Big E Langston. He's up and coming, so I think he's going to definitely be the future WWE low point Divas match. Once again, you bored me out of my mind, and the fact that USA's feed tonight was like scrambled. I don't know if you guys had the same problem that I did, but
I did.
The time, like
there's a few matches where it started
right
getting jittery.
Right before Brock Lesnar came out, my feed went like all kinds of nonsense. But
it was bad timing. Yeah, I actually had the same problem. So it may. Oh, do you have Time Warner?
No, I actually had DirecTV.
Oh, so it might have been something on WWE's end. Anyway, Brian, I'm going to get our next caller on here. So we really appreciate you calling in, bud.
Hey, thank you.
Have a good night, man. Happy New Year.
You got to.
All right, thank you very much. Brian the Brain calling in here on the Mega Powers Raw Post Show. We got another caller sitting on the line here, and we certainly appreciate you being patient because we know who this is. I know who this is, I should say. It's an old friend of the show from the 412. I believe this is JD from Pittsburgh. What's shaking, JD?
Holy shit, JD.
Hey, guys. Happy New Year. What's going on?
Oh, man. And JD, I also wanted to make sure I got this on here. You unfortunately couldn't get on with us. I think it was not last week or even 2 weeks ago was your birthday. So I think we should all wish JD a big happy birthday from the Raw Post Show here.
Woody woo! Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a very interesting year-end of the Raw show tonight in Richmond. I'll tell you what, you had a lot of things tonight that just went crazy, to say the least. I mean, the ending with Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family and Brock Lesnar coming out as a psycho again with Paul Heyman. I mean, what the hell were they bringing Paul Lee back for? I mean, don't they know? I mean, Paul Lee, that's all he's good for, is managing guys like him. Apparently, I mean, he didn't work with Axel, didn't work with Ryback, and now he's bringing them along with Brock Lesnar again, and they're saying, oh, let's give Brock a shot at the heavyweight title because he deserves it. Come on, give me an effing break already. Seriously. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, all in all, it was a pretty decent show, I gotta say. However, it'll be interesting to see what the reigns are like when they are announced later in the week, however. But, I mean, I thought they did a little bit better this week than they did
Was
the
there
Christmas Eve
was there a football game on tonight?
Yeah, Texas and Oregon. That was the college football game. Yeah.
And I know next week is a big one too. Supposedly that's why they put together the whole old school Raw thing because they're going to get in tight with these like football games.
Right, they're going up against the national championship, and with them in Baltimore next Monday night, I'm thinking you're going to see some legends come back, like Ric Flair obviously returning. You got also Dusty Rhodes, probably Ted DiBiase, Piper, Rikishi, the New Age Outlaws. I mean, some other big names I'm sure will show up. Mean Gene Okerlund, but all in all, I mean, they did a little bit of they hooked us at the end with that surprise, however. And at first, I thought Daniel Bryan was going to go basically and say no, and the fans were yelling no. But obviously, Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family continue to be the Ravens flock of the WWE, and now with Daniel Bryan as their new disciple, it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to be perceived next week when they go to Baltimore. But a very, very plot twisting end to a very, very good Raw this week. I thought they did a little bit better than they did last week, if you ask me.
It was shocking, I would say, and in some ways it was predictable from the whole story in the beginning, but for some reason tonight, I just did not expect that segment to end that way. I thought we were just going to see another boring Daniel Bryan gauntlet match against the Wyatt family, and it ended up, I don't know, man. I just feel so unsettled by what happened. I really have to digest this. This show is too soon. I need time.
It was. You're right. It was too soon. I agree, and I think a lot of people are going to say the same thing you're saying. I mean, there were some. I mean, a little twists and turns here and there, but obviously, once again, Brad Maddox playing the little weasel that he is. However, becoming a kiss ass that he is. However, I mean, he just shows once again, like Gordon, he loves to kiss the authorities' ass whenever he can, and he thinks he can do that because he's Mr. Puppet Boy. I mean, give me a break. I mean, I'm sorry, Brad Maddox as a GM is not working. Please get rid of him. That's all I can say. Please get rid of this guy.
What a worthless character. Why do you need a GM of Raw and Brad Maddox when there's like 500 authority? You got Vince McMahon, the owner of the company, Triple H, COO, Stephanie, who they just make a new title for every week. She's like the principal owner or some crap like that, whatever they want to call her.
If you want to bring up that question, then you're going to have to question the last 10 years of the entire WWE. Okay. I'm sorry.
But listen, I didn't even mention the director of operations, Kane.
I mean, come on, Mike Adam Lee, John Laurinaitis. The list goes on.
See, my man here is thinking right on the ball. Why did you bring in a guy 10 years ago like a Mike Alley or John Laryngitis? I mean, he was on there, what was it, a couple weeks ago, and he yelled out, "People power!" And it's like, you only had him off like 5 seconds. Really? You want to bring him back to television just to do the people power bit? I mean, then you got Vicky Guerrero every week who gets cheap heat wherever she goes. And, excuse me. Here's an idea. Get rid of her. Seriously, get rid of her. They can't, obviously, but she continues to be a thorn in the side every week on SmackDown. If they want to do a GM right, just put Teddy Long on Raw. I'm sorry, but don't embarrass me.
No. Get rid of all of them. Have one almighty boss like you did in the Attitude Era, and just have the one boss that pissed everybody off. Don't have all these
just fire
GMs
everybody.
And all these
just have the crowd
people.
be in this camera. That's all you need. Pat Sajak in the chat room says, "Bring back O.J. Simpson."
Cute.
So, JD, you touched upon it, but how you feel about Brock Lesnar being back, man? Was it at least an exciting segment for this week, or are you just completely bored by this guy?
Well, it's too soon to tell, but I'll tell you, I mean, he let out a big yell like Drago. I mean, he thought he was Ivan fucking Drago, for God's sake, tonight. I mean, he is just nuts. I mean, what he did to Henry, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't pipe in the holy shit chant when he went spearing Henry right through the barricade, however. But it's going to be interesting to see what Brock does. I mean, a lot of people thought Brock was going to be at the Silva fight on Saturday night, however, and then earlier in the day, you kind of heard yesterday and again this morning that he was going to be at Raw, but you just didn't know when he was going to be at Raw. There was talk before the Rumble, and then this afternoon there were rumblings around saying that Brock Lesnar is going to be on Raw, but in what capacity? And then he comes out, and then Triple H being buddy with him, like whose butt did he have to kiss, basically, to get back in Triple H's good grace? And then Paul Heyman, he's smiling like a cat swallowed a canary, basically, when he stuck out his hand and Triple H shook his hand. It's like, oh my God, I never thought I'd see the day, but like I said, there were some good parts, however, but that leads me to wonder, are they going to tease Henry and obviously Lesnar maybe for the Rumble?
I think that's going to be a Rumble match. It's just to be like, okay, Brock Lesnar's here, he's back, and he's back for WrestleMania season. That's all that match is for, I imagine. That cannot possibly be a WrestleMania program.
No, and they're setting up, I know, Brock and Taker for WrestleMania. Now,
that's all hearsay at this point, but it's a potential one. Yeah, I mean, I think there's only two money matches you can do with Brock right now, and that's Taker or Batista.
Yeah, and the question is, well, I mean, who's going to have the bigger ego? You know, who's going to have the big ego?
Now, JD, that's exactly what I was going to say, man. I don't want to cut you off, but we actually got the boards going crazy, so I want to make sure to get these other callers in here. They're being patient. We appreciate it, just like you were, man. We appreciate it. But your high point, low point for tonight's Raw.
High point, I would have to say, was the opening match. Punk and Rollins putting on an 18-minute match was just great. I mean, the fans were into it. They were really involved a little bit tonight. The low point, I'm going to go the Brodus Clay R-Truth thing. This thing is getting more stupider by the week. It really is. So, there you go.
All right, JD, we appreciate you calling in, man. Good to hear from you again. Happy New Year, and definitely call back again, man. You're always welcome.
No problem, guys. Have a great New Year, and be careful yourselves this New Year.
Take care, JD. Oh, my goodness. And as I said, the boards are going absolutely crazy, so we're going to go right into another caller. This one is on the Skype line. Skype name Pew3er Killer 2.
Yeah, it's pure killer, man.
What's shaking? You're on the Raw Post Show. What's your name, man?
My name's Justin.
Justin, thanks for calling in, man. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I have a question.
What's up? Good.
Why do these fucking faggots run around in tights and give each other?
All right, thanks, dude.
Because it's hot.
I love those faggots like that.
Right?
You really
hold
on. You really waited 5 minutes just to say that? Really? Like you sat there for 5 minutes listening to these people talk, us losers talking on the internet just to say that when you know you're going to get cut off? What a fucking idiot. All right.
That was disappointing as hell. At least the old guys would go out of their way to build up a story and then talk about shoving a gym bag up their ass or something.
No creativity at all. They don't even try. Oh, wrestling's gay. Yeah, we didn't hear that in the 70s. All right.
Well, do you believe in the ladder to heaven? Well, if the ladder is my penis and heaven is an 8-year-old boy, then yeah.
All right, Paul, you're not doing us any favors.
I would expect something more out of this guy than just.
All right, we're bringing out our next caller. Yeah. Caller from the 641. You're on the Mega Powers Radio post. Mega Powers Radio Raw post show. What's your name? Where you're calling from? 641. You there?
My name is Anonymous, and I'm calling from the Earth.
Oh, Earth's a nice place. I'm from there too.
You lift? You faggots even lift?
I'm from Earth. It's a nice place. So what's on your mind tonight?
Do you lift, faggot? Do you lift weights?
Do I lift?
Or do you just sit around watching Muscular Man, wishing you could just fucking rip their cock?
I don't know. Do you do anything besides waiting on internet radio stations just so you can say curse words? Is that your life? Oh, you hung up, you fucking dork.
he was roid raging anyway, Mike. He was roid raging.
Is this real?
Man, back to back.
Right? I bet they're friends. I bet it's the same fucking guy.
But he's
got all of his lines. He's like those people who used to win the radio contest. They would have 6 phones sitting around them, and I try to call them all the same ones.
But you got to answer the question. Now it's in the air. Do you lift?
No. I just watch these sweaty guys wishing I had their bodies. Yes, that is it. You caught me. You got me. Pure.
I would have Justin.
Pure. Yeah. Well, he keeps calling back. Let's ask him. Justin, bro, you lift?
Yeah, I lift, bro. I really lift.
Mm-hmm.
I lift your mother on my cock. She's so tender and juicy.
All right, that was better. That made up for the other one.
Good one, Justin. Okay, you get a 4 out of 10 for that one. All right, guys. Let's get things rolling back with us here. I believe we didn't get everyone's opinion about the Daniel Bryan and the Wyatt family situation. So, Drew, with what went down with Daniel Bryan tonight, is it new possibilities for him, or are you in agreement with some of the other people we've been talking tonight that this is a huge mistake?
I don't know if it's a huge mistake per se, but, right now I think Daniel Bryan is put in that role right now as kind of like the people's champ. Everyone cheers for him. He's like, in my eyes, he's the biggest babyface in the company. But, when I saw this, because I only saw the last 25 or so minutes of Raw, I thought this was an interesting way to end the year to make me want to tune in next Monday, because it was so interesting and weird the way they did it with him being so conflicted. I think it might be a good thing. I think, I can watch this Monday and be satisfied with the outcome. I think it may be the best time to do a heel turn, maybe not go through with it, because, at the end of the year, maybe they could pull something off like hey, this is a new year for Daniel Bryan sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna be positive about this. I want to see what they turn this into, because they've been working on this for about a month now. I just want to see where they go from here.
They've done pretty much nothing with the Wyatt family except for cram them down our throats, and they've had to have been cramming them down our throats for a reason. So finally, This is our first real development we're seeing with the Wyatt family. So you know what? I'm intrigued, and I at least want to see where it's going before I'm going to count it out. But Steven, you're the cynical man of the group, so why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts on this one?
You know what? I resent that. Mango's the fucking one that's always cynical these days.
Hey, I only have one thing that I disliked about this episode. The only topic we're talking about, though.
But, shit, if you ask Justin, you probably do like the Wyatt's cram down your throat, Paden. As far as, you know what? I'm not going to judge this segment until I see where it goes. It could be really bad. It could be really good. If they turn him heel, it's a disaster. If if it's a false turn where he's using it to fuck the Wyatt family over, then great, I'm all for it. I'm not gonna overanalyze this until I know what route they're going, because I can't predict it right now.
Oh. All right, guys, we got a question from the chat room I actually wanted to bring up here. We're talking a lot about returns. James Baelish inside the chat room. James, I just saw your private message too. If you're listening, you can certainly call in and give your opinion as well, but I'm going to ask the question you gave us. He wants to know what our thoughts about the return of Batista is, which is great because we didn't have a show last week due to holiday when they first aired the commercial. The Animal Batista, it's official, is returning January 20th to the WWE. What could we possibly see this guy do, and are we happy to see him back? Drew, why don't you start us off with this one, since I'm pretty sure when you first started getting into was the heyday of Batista. Drew? All right, I think we lost Drew. Steven?
He went to, I think he went to Red Lobster.
Hi. I'm back.
Okay. Drew. Oh, my gosh. Drew, you just embarrassed me. Thank you. Drew, what are your thoughts about Batista coming back in a few weeks?
I didn't see the commercial yet, but I did hear about the return of Batista on Twitter. But, I think this is a positive thing, even though, let's see, he left in 2010, right? I think
sounds about right. So. Maybe 2011, but 2010 sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it might be a good thing. Sometimes he might be just doing this for the money now, but I think Batista is still a relative enough figure in wrestling to be, a household name. Maybe to bring WWE a few more tickets, a few more buys for their pay-per-views when he shows up. But, I was a fan of Batista when I was younger. I don't know if I will still be a fan of him now. But, I think it's a good time to bring him in because they have all these big guys now, like monsters. You got Brock Lesnar, the Batista returns Batista. I think this is a good time to maybe use him for a feud with Roman Reigns or someone like that. One of these younger talents. Maybe even a Big E Langston to an extent. Maybe not now, but somewhere in the future when he loses the Intercontinental title. I could totally go for a Big E Langston Batista match. They got all these big guys, and I think this bigness is interesting to say the least.
You're not helping us, Drew. Seriously? Come on. Steven, what kind of situation do you think Batista is going to find himself in? Is he going to be in a similar contract to Brock Lesnar where he just kind of comes and goes as he pleases? Or do you think maybe he'll be a little more consistent, maybe along the lines of a Rob Van Dam schedule?
Based on what Batista said, he said he didn't want to come back for one of these silly brief periods where he comes back for one or two pay-per-views. So I think we'll get at least 6 months out of him, and then he'll probably go away. He's obviously found his role in doing movies now, so maybe he'll stay in WWE for a bit, go away to do a movie, and come back. Kind of like The Rock did before he actually went away for that full time. As far as what his future holds for him right now in WWE, I'm not too sure. I'm guessing he's going to be involved in the title picture.
Tony, how about you? How do you think Batista's future is going to pan out for his time coming up?
I don't know as far as quality, but I think that there's a good potential in it. He's not the kind of legend that you would go for if you could bring anybody back, but he is still somebody who's a big enough name that it's worth the risk of putting him in a pretty big spot. As far as like how often he's going to wrestle, I think he's going to be kind of like a Jericho. He'll pop in, he'll pop out here and there. It depends on whether or not he's doing a movie, because his movie career isn't going to go skyrocketing with Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. I mean, it'll get a step up, but he's not The Rock. So we're not going to run into a situation where Batista's going to need, 9 months out of the year off or whatever because he's off shooting 20 different movies at the same time. Batista should do pretty well, though. He's got a couple different feuds that he can have that we haven't seen before. The big one that I think that they're going to go for is him and Sheamus for WrestleMania. But he's also got other people. I mean, he has Roman Reigns, like Drew pointed out. He's got, Big E Langston. He has Daniel Bryan, really. They haven't, gotten to work together. I mean, you got a lot of possibilities here, so I'm all for it.
All right, and Paul, saved the best question for you, dude. Who's Batista's first opponent coming back going to be?
You know what? As far as Triple H is running the company, it's going to be Randy Orton. Because we have what do we have? We have next Monday on Old School Raw. We got Ric Flair coming back. We got Triple H, the COO of the company. We have Randy Orton, the WWE World Heavyweight Champ. And we got Batista returning in 3 weeks. I think it's just a perfect storm, guys. I mean, why not bring this whole chemistry back together? Because they were just as electrifying as they were when they were Evolution. I mean, does nobody else see this? All of this is coming together. I mean, you got so much potential coming up.
Yeah.
Batista can do whatever he wants. I know I said the Evolution story was, most likely, but honestly, Rey Mysterio is a good rival for him. They were rivals before. You could pair him against John Cena, who's had experience with Batista. Randy Orton, of course, is obvious. All of the big guys. I especially like what Tony said about Batista and Sheamus. That seems like a good matchup. But, I mean, how can you not be excited about the return of Batista? And I have to say his first opponent coming back just might be Randy Orton.
I just want to see his entrance again. And for that matter, is he going to be a heel or face?
Face. I Walk Alone. One of the best theme songs ever.
But he left as a heel, and that was like by far the best part of his career.
Oh,
by
yeah.
a country mile, that was the best part of his career.
Face.
Oh, I guess you guys don't care. All right. Well, then, while we're talking about returns, then let's talk about the big return we had tonight. Brock Lesnar being introduced by COO Triple H. They shook hands in the ring, which just did not seem right. Triple H and Paul Heyman as well shaking hands. There's this whole odd feeling. Like, you could just feel the tension in the air as they went through the whole thing. But Paul Heyman took over the mic, talked about what Brock Lesnar wants, Brock Lesnar takes, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, they got around to saying that Brock Lesnar would be facing whoever the winner of the title match at the Royal Rumble would be. And then he says, whoever wants to challenge me right now can come out and do it. And who else would answer it but the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Fortunately, Mark Henry was not able to keep up much of a fight. Brock Lesnar absolutely tearing Mark Henry apart, spearing him through a barricade, and then eventually lifting him up and F5ing him right down onto the mats on the outside of the ring. Mark Henry, that's a heavy dude. Gravity likes heavy dudes. It pulls him down fast, and Mark Henry dropped like a fucking sack of cement. Did not look comfortable for him. Steven, you're the big MMA guy here. Is it great to see Brock Lesnar back on WWE television?
Yeah, I'm always happy to see Brock Lesnar back. He's definitely got a presence around him that no one else does. He comes off as a legitimate badass, and I was actually pumped when Mark Henry's music hit. It was awesome seeing the two collide, because when it comes to any guy in the WWE that I wouldn't want to be caught in a dark alley with, it's Mark Henry. So it was they had a nice little brawl, and man, did anyone just find it fucking hilarious at Brock Lesnar screaming?
Oh, those sounds were absolutely great. His battle cry. I remember he did those at WrestleMania earlier this year. So to see him making that more of part of his spiel is great. I mean, he did what, 3 or 4 times tonight?
Yeah, he did it. He did it once when he threw him through the barricade, and then again after the F5, and some point before that.
I think he did it twice after the barricade. Like, first he did it facing away from the camera, and then he turned on face the camera and let out another one.
Yeah, he almost fucking toppled the cameraman over with the way he ran towards it. But
I really find it funny that whenever he taunts somebody, he sounds like a Special Olympics competitor.
Okay. All right, guys, I hate to backtrack
hey,
it.
No. That promo he shot tonight was awful. It was awful.
Okay. We got to backtrack for a second, guys, here. I'm bringing someone on the line. We got Mr. James Baelish, friend of the show. He wanted to talk about his opinions about Batista's return. James, you there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
All right, James, thanks for calling in, man. So you want to talk about Batista. Tell us your thoughts about it, dude.
Yeah. What I want to talk about is, like, how excited I am, first off, that Batista is finally coming back, because I've been hearing rumors like Batista never returned because of he didn't like the reason why he left, in my opinion, and what I've been hearing around rumors on the internet is that the reason why he left is because he didn't like the way the direction of the WWE is going. But yet he's still coming back, even though it's in the direction he didn't like. But what I want to talk about mostly is that that my hand-picked opponent for Batista, if I am thinking about, like, in Triple H's point of view, would be Randy Orton, because who would be better for Batista to return to battle than Randy Orton.
And those guys are always shown what kind of parallels their careers had. They both went through evolution, of course. And I don't think they ever had a WrestleMania match with each other, have they?
Yeah. No. Because I'm talking about, because they have so much together, that they've been together in the stable of evolution, that they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, that who knows? They may be at WrestleMania, it may be Elimination Chamber. Nobody knows at this point, but we all know that eventually, or at least we hope eventually, Triple H will put together Batista and Randy Orton.
I think there's money in that. I think I'm going to agree with you, James. I think there's a lot of money in a Batista-Randy Orton match, and that's one that actually hasn't crossed my mind. And it's one of those things I think a lot of people have grown at, like, oh, God, those two guys that we saw as big names in 2008. But you know what? Hey, we just had John Cena versus Randy Orton for 2 months in a row now. I think we can do a Batista versus John Cena versus Orton.
We also had Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton as well.
For like half the year.
Like 3 months, 4 months. Yeah.
There's a really interesting article on WWE.com that shows 2013 by the numbers, and Randy Orton has the most consecutive. Well, not the most consecutive. He has the most wins in 2013, and I do believe he holds another winning percentage in 2013. I'm trying to remember what it is, but he has the most matches. He had the most matches, and he had the most wins in 2013. I think that's pretty damn impressive.
And a guy who's barely even talked about when people are talking about their Superstar of the Year choices.
Mm-hmm.
James, what else stuck out to you from tonight's Raw, man?
Well, I honestly did like the Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar thing with Triple H, where Mark Henry came out.
It's lots of great people coming back. A lot of people hate on these part-time schedulers or these old-timers to bring it in. You know what? I think it's making the show fun. I was happy seeing Brock Lesnar out there throwing around Mark Henry like a rag doll. And just as we were saying, Batista's coming back. It's exciting to be a wrestling fan again. You know what? Already, I'm more excited for this upcoming WrestleMania than I was for last year's WrestleMania. And I went to last year's WrestleMania.
So did I.
Indeed.
I went to MetLife too, and I saw all the matches. Honestly, if I had to say, WrestleMania 29, Undertaker's match is actually one of my favorite. But speaking about Batista, I'm actually looking forward to when Raw goes to Daytona, Ohio for Batista's big return. Like, I'm actually looking ahead to that because I want to see what Triple H and what the creative team are going to put Batista up against.
Now, I noticed you knew exactly
and how they're going to bring him back. Are they going to use his pyrotechnic entrance again? Are they going to use his last heel entrance
spotlight?
Where he doesn't have any pyrotechnics? I don't know.
The spotlight. I like the spotlight. I noticed you specifically said in Daytona, so you knew exactly where it was. Are you close to there? Do you plan on attending the event?
Nah, I'm not close to there. Nah.
Okay. I just heard you mention the city, so I didn't know if there was a special reason why you knew that. All right, man. So as far as Monday Night Raw tonight, what was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part? Your high point and your low point?
My favorite part would have to be the first match of the evening.
CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Those guys tore the house down. Absolutely. And your low point?
My low point, well, if I had to choose one, I do like it, but it wasn't my favorite. The one I mentioned about Paul Heyman, Triple H, and Brock Lesnar throwing Mark Henry like a rag doll.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It just wasn't my favorite.
Are you a little bit underwhelmed by the fact that they're putting Mark Henry as Brock Lesnar's return opponent?
Yes.
Yeah. Who would you rather see him with right now?
Well, I'd rather see Brock Lesnar with someone that used to be a Paul Heyman guy, like someone like Ryback, or someone that used to be a Paul Heyman guy.
Have a revenge story.
That hasn't faced Brock Lesnar yet. Has CM Punk faced Lesnar yet?
Yeah, he just faced him at SummerSlam last year.
Yeah, but I mean, someone like Ryback or someone like that, because they were in a stable together. I would like to see them bring Ryback somehow back with Heyman and then tear each other apart, Lesnar and Ryback.
Yeah. All right, James, we appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for the question as well, dude. Have a good New Year.
You too. Thank you.
All right, thanks, James. Thank you for all the callers. The boards have been going absolutely insane tonight with genuine and prank callers. We appreciate everyone. Unfortunately, guys, I hate to inform you, but we can't do the show anymore. I've just been informed by Cog in the wrestling chat here. Do you guys realize wrestling isn't real? Wrestling isn't real.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked. That's why I just said we have to cancel it, man. And we're fucking idiots.
Yep.
What?
Show's over, guys. Wrestling's not real.
Wait. So you're telling me Hornswoggle is not a magical episode?
No. Yeah, listen,
Are you
Tony.
telling me that Matt Hardy and Lita were never really together?
This is going to blow your mind. If you go to Hornswoggle and you say Dylan, he'll look.
What?
He's not.
Why would he do that?
My box of Lucky Charms is missing.
Well, he might be. But
what? Wait, why would he?
He had a fucking pot of gold.
No, he just had a lot of pot in those gold coins.
At the very least, that the Undertaker was supernatural and he was causing lightning to fall down from the sky and burning things.
Like, how did he survive being buried alive? There's no explanation for that.
Wait. Are you telling me that Undertaker didn't kill Kane's parents?
Wait. So Vince McMahon isn't really a cult leader? Wait, he probably is.
Wait, so Nikki Bella's tits are fake? What?
Okay, I think we took this joke as far as it could go.
Are you telling me Queen
No, Paul,
isn't really a gargoyle?
Paul, just let it be buried and done. It's done. But Paul, if you do want to talk, you could tell us about your thoughts about Brock Lesnar's return tonight.
I thought it was good for Brock. I mean, he hasn't really been doing anything. Like I said, I would love to see Brock Lesnar go up against some heavy hitters. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Brock Lesnar Mark Henry feud because even in his debut, we just saw him and JBL and John Cena and whoever he had to defend the title against. I wouldn't mind seeing a Brock Lesnar Mark Henry.
It's fresh, especially for this part of the career of Mark Henry. I mean, obviously Brock Lesnar's in a different spot, but Mark Henry's really in a different spot. He really only came into himself in the last 2-3 years. So to have him go with a guy like this guy, he doesn't normally get to meet power with people. Mark Henry's always the guy that's at least twice the size of the other person. So go in there with someone like Brock Lesnar rather, it's a pretty unique thing. So I agree.
And let's not forget that Mark Henry's quote unquote retirement is still the most talked about thing of the year. Like that shocked a whole lot of people for most of the year. I know I still remember it. I thought it was the greatest thing.
Yeah, but Paul, it didn't even get a slammy.
I don't care if it didn't get a slammy. They're not going to give that a slammy. They're not going to give that a slammy. You know they're not going to give that a slammy. But that was still undoubtedly the greatest moment of the year.
Well, Tony, are you excited for this potential match that we're going to have between Mark Henry and Brock Lesnar, and when do you think it's going to happen?
I hope it happens at the Royal Rumble. I don't want this to drag on to WrestleMania, and I don't think that it will either. But I think that it's kind of cool because, the same reasons that you were saying, Mark Henry being a power person, when you put him up against a Rey Mysterio or whatever, it just kind of looks ridiculous. And if you put Brock Lesnar against somebody like that, it's going to be just the same. So having the two big guys against each other, that could be something kind of cool. And it can also kind of give an excuse for why the two of them aren't in the Royal Rumble as well. And anytime that you can get those main event guys that aren't going to win the Royal Rumble out of the Royal Rumble and do it in a way that doesn't call attention to the fact that they're not wrestling in there, I'm a fan of that as well. So if we get Lesnar and Henry at the Royal Rumble, as long as they don't make Mark Henry look like a little bitch against Brock Lesnar, then that's cool. I like it.
This is actually very reminiscent of, I believe it was 2005, where Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble fought against Bob Khali because they couldn't put Bob Khali in the Royal Rumble. There's no way he would lose. I mean, who's going to throw Bob Khali over the top rope? So they put him in the championship matchup. I think it ended in a DQ even. No, I know.
You see drop kicks?
What's that?
Who's going to go against those drop kicks?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
There's the Alabama Slammer too. I mean, can't forget about that Alabama Slammer.
And I think Bob Khali might be at that TNA pay-per-view that's tonight because it was supposed to be sort of a crossover between House of Hardcore, which is the new wannabe ECW that Tommy Dreamer's creating.
Whoa. So why didn't you go?
Because it's TNA and
TNA.
And AJ Styles isn't there. Once I heard AJ Styles was gone, I was like, "Yep, not going." Indeed.
Oh, so you were considering it? That's weak.
Shut up, Drew.
Well, I mean, come on, the knockouts. I'd give it to him for the knockouts, just to see a little. I don't know.
Wish someone would knock me out when I'm watching TNA.
it usually does, so it's okay. It takes care of that. But Drew, how you feeling about the return of Brock Lesnar?
So wait, did Paul Heyman just show up on this podcast? 'Cause, that was actually pretty good. But I'm asking Mango a question here. So you're telling me that Brock Lesnar is not gonna be wrestling on a pay-per-view that isn't WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, or SummerSlam?
Didn't he fight at Survivor Series? Not this past one, but the one before it?
No. No.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Then sure. It's different, you know. There's very few people who can amount to the strength of Brock Lesnar. You know, if Batista's back, then him. But, you know, Mark Henry would be one of the top guys I'd see if they want to do a feat of strength type of thing. And I think it'd be, you know, to be honest with you, I do enjoy these big man matches a bit more than some other people. And I think it would be definitely interesting to see these two wrestle out of everyone. Except I don't know if they did do a match at Royal Rumble, would it be just a straight on match, or would there be a stipulation added to it?
I think it might be a street fight.
A street fight, then yeah. See, if it was a street fight or something like that.
Wait. I think it'll be no holds barred.
Oh, wait. No DQ?
What about a strap match? What about a Belfast brawl?
We're not going to go down this again. I don't know why I started that.
Every fucking week.
Something about Nikki Bella.
Best rack I've ever seen.
So I think there's money in this match if they choose to go down the route of Brock Lesnar actually wrestling on something that's not SummerSlam, Extreme Rules, or WrestleMania.
It's kind of cool seeing Brock Lesnar in January.
Yeah. I think it's he would turn around this time last year when he came in and just F5 Vince McMahon. So I think, and also I didn't show it the last 25 minutes of Raw, but I think from what you guys were telling me that he was like in the ring with Triple H, and did they show any tension at all during that segment?
There was like a stern connection of eyes, and I think. I didn't quite catch it fully, but it looked like after they did that, like Brock and Paul Heyman kind of looked at each other and gave each other kind of a slick smile, like, yeah, we got this guy where we want him now.
You know, I think that's interesting enough as it is. So I think just Brock Lesnar being back, you know, I think he makes at least Raw a lot more interesting whenever he comes out and just F5 someone. Everyone goes crazy for an F5 nowadays.
Only month Brock should be in is in Brocktober, because it's funny. It's really funny. I don't know if anyone ever did this, but if they ever wanted to make fun of Brock Lesnar for being a chicken, which I don't know why anybody would, but they could be like, "What's the matter, Brock? You chicken? Brock."
with that shriek that he does, I don't know. It's not too far off.
I don't know what's worse, you doing a Brock chicken or rootin' tootin' Mike Paden.
I'm not. No. All right, guys. Let's rewind all the way back to the beginning of the show and let's just run down what we didn't touch in chronological order. Just going over real quick. Our opening segment, we had CM Punk calling out the Shield. They didn't waste any time answering his call either. CM Punk tells them that he wants to face the best one because he knows there's no way he's really going to beat them all three on one, which he did, but. Not getting into that. He wants the best one in a one-on-one match. They kind of argue about it for a minute. It mostly ends up with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in a face-to-face, eventually with Seth Rollins demanding to be the one. Brad Maddox comes out, makes the match official, sends down a ref, and the match starts, and it was all right. Yeah, it was okay. I think it's kind of funny that when we're in a situation where CM Punk looks like the person in the ring who has had a shower most recently. It's a very rare occurrence. Steven, I know you're the big Seth Rollins fan, so were you happy that Seth Rollins got a little bit of time to shine, not just with the match, but even with the segment a little bit too? He got a little bit of time to talk in the ring and stand up for himself with his brethren.
I think you're mixing me up with Sean here. He's the Seth Rollins fan. I think he's a homeless guy like you do. But... It was nice. It was nice seeing CM Punk beat the shit out of a homeless guy. It was a really entertaining match. Yeah, it was great. It was great to see both guys go out there. I'm glad it wasn't Reigns that took the loss because obviously they need to groom him for a big ass push. I think they kind of went over the top in the segment prior to the match on teasing the Shield splitting up. It was kind of too in your face, but otherwise, awesome match.
They used to do it subtly. Like, remember, like they were talking over each other at the Slammies or whatever it may be. But now it's just like, okay, we get it. We get it. They're not going to go, okay, yes, we get it. Dean Ambrose is a baby. Yes, we get it. Yeah, Roman Reigns is sexy. We get it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Drew.
Tell us again why we watch wrestling.
Drew, how'd you like our opening bit with CM Punk and Seth Rollins?
You know, if I actually saw it, I could give you
All right, well, never mind then, Tony.
But if I had to say something, it sounds like a JTG push is in the making. Just saying.
I thought it was good. I didn't think that it was the match of the night, but I did think that it was pretty good.
And Paul, how'd you like tonight's opening bit with CM Punk and Seth Rollins?
I kind of like this whole CM Punk single-handedly taking down the Shield thing. I think it's good for his rep as, you know, the best in the world.
You think he's going to be the person that's going to be responsible for the full demise of them?
I think he's going to find a way to be that person. I honestly do, because, you know, as tough and dominant as Roman Reigns has been, you know, CM Punk has just proven time and time again that he's one step ahead of the Shield. And
remember when John Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback couldn't beat the Shield?
And then this man is doing it single-handedly.
Who'd think
the whole team?
CM Punk is the best in the world.
Who'd think the demise of the Shield would be? Which one's better? Who's the best Shield member? That's what you have to say.
And you saw that. You saw Punk plant the seeds of dissent earlier tonight.
It's not even a fucking seed. It was just a fucking mess. I don't know what to call that segment.
No, I just listen, my guys. If Seth Rollins is the demise of the Shield, then that is, by God, the worst thing. The worst way they could do it. The best way they could do it is by if just Roman Reigns just gives them the thumbs up like Batista, and then gives them the thumbs down, and then just spears them all. Yeah, it's just God, by God, that'd be amazing.
You can't blame him for splitting up, though. Imagine fucking having to travel the road with Seth Rollins all the time. It must smell bad.
And Roman Reigns do this.
Yeah, like every time they're driving on the road, it's like, oh, let's just stay here. It's like, Seth, that's an alley. It's like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I stay here all the time. It's great. I know this alley. Oh, there's Pete. What's up, Pete? One-eyed Pete.
And then Dean Ambrose is just walking down the street and wants to fuck some random person up.
What?
Doesn't care who it is. Just like
what town are we in? I know this sweet spot.
Yo, man, the cans there. Oh my gosh.
I bet he goes around pissing on alleyways to mark his territory and shit.
So that's where that streak in his hair came from. Speaking of weird streaks and hairs, how about Dolph Ziggler's new pink streak he has in his hair, huh?
I guess you got to get attention somehow.
Yeah.
I skipped this match.
Yeah, well, he certainly wasn't going to get attention in a match with Curtis Axel because I don't think anybody paid too much attention to it. Does anyone have anything they want to add about it?
Add to what?
Curtis Axel versus Dolph Ziggler.
Who won?
To what?
I think Ziggler won with one of his 10 finisher moves. I couldn't tell you which one.
Was it the roll-up?
I think it was. No, I think it was the zigzag.
It was the famouser.
It was a zigzag out of nowhere that Michael Cole went crazy for.
That's right. He went fucking bonza for it.
Right. I'm like falling asleep almost watching this match, trying to like stay paying attention to it, whatever. And then Michael Cole's just like, "Oh my God, he hit a zigzag! Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my fucking God!" Like
it's like the vintage RKO out of nowhere speech. Like, oh my goodness.
He had a bigger reaction to that than he had Daniel Bryan winning the championship from John Cena practically.
So next we had our matchup for the Intercontinental title, which was won last week on the contract on a pole match by Fandango. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, we didn't meet last week, so we didn't talk about that. Yeah, they had a contract on a pole match, and it was actually pretty good, between Fandango and Dolph Ziggler. Fandango was the victor, so he got to face Big E Langston for the Intercontinental title tonight. Unfortunately, was not successful. Big E sealing the fate with the big ending. Honestly, I thought it was a pretty damn good match between the two of them. Fandango showing he's still a contender, getting a lot of great offense in the match, as did Big E. I think both guys showing that they're going to be big stars in the division and maybe even further throughout 2014. Tony, what do you think about it?
Best match of the night. I loved it. And I think that you're right about it. Both guys do have a huge future in WWE. And they might not both get really good treatment at the beginning of 2014, but I think throughout the year you're going to see a lot of these two. Two other things to point out in this match that I thought were really good, or at least in this segment. One I thought was funny was there was a sign in the crowd that they held up, and I didn't notice it the rest of the night, only for this match. It just said, "Get my bag." I didn't notice it beforehand or after this, just during this. And the other thing we have to talk about, Summer Rae.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Dude, the gams on that chick. I swear she gets hotter every week. How does she do it?
I don't know, but she's very quickly going up my list.
Yo, it's like AJ who?
I don't know if she surpasses AJ quite yet, but she's getting there.
She has definitely surpassed the Keebler.
Oh, well, especially these days, Keebler ain't doing so great after Clooney finished his way with her.
Well, I like to keep Keebler in the Dudley Boys era. I like to just think of her as that. You know?
Well, those legs rival him, of course. Oh my goodness! But you know what? She's got the legs of Stacy Keebler and the face of Kelly Kelly.
Was it me, or whenever Summer Rae turned around, it seemed like she didn't have any underwear on?
I'm pretty sure she didn't have underwear on.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Do you have a problem with that? I don't.
No. I was just confirming.
Yeah, so where are those calls accusing us of being gay now?
So
faggot.
So about Big E's dongs.
Yeah. We actually got through most of this conversation about a Big E Langston match without talking about his penis. It's amazing.
We all know what we were looking at during that match.
They found a way to work around it, at least.
Maybe they put a piece of cardboard. Like, they took the idea that I gave for getting rid of Eric Roden's wedgie, but they put it instead in Big E Langston's crotch. That's the way they stopped it.
And after they did that, they were like, please, just get Summer Rae something really skimpy to wear, because I need to feel more manly after this. So, like, we need to make up for what we just did with Big E. Summer Rae, please go out there wearing that dress. I don't care if you have to change later on for your match. Just wear that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Here, now go out there, wear this dress.
Definitely a highlight, though, Summer Rae's outfit. Oh, man.
And her boobs were extra jiggly.
Yes, they were.
Good match, though, too, on top of it. I mean, don't want to just gloss over that fact. I think that these two had a really good match.
I think we glossed over it enough.
I'm trying to bring it back.
Steven, go ahead and admit it. Who was awesome tonight?
Big E's dong.
Summer Rae.
Yeah, Summer Rae. You know what? Hats off to Fandango. He learned psychology this week, and it was fucking awesome. And he actually carried the match for the most part. He was awesome out there tonight, and if he continues like this, I'm jumping on the bandwagon.
You know what he actually pulled out this week that I've never seen him do, but I honestly really liked it, was the spinning heel kick. He did a really cool spinning heel kick in this match, very reminiscent of a Savio Vega one.
But I think hats off for the story they were telling, him working on Big E's leg throughout the match. I think it would have been a little better if Big E was selling it a little bit more, but this whole match was a lot of fun.
Big E Langston's leg hurting. Look at that fucking thing.
It's a tree stump. I almost thought Fandango had the title, honestly.
I really thought they were going to pull the bait and switch with this one. Like, make you think we were going to have a program with Sandow and Big E, and then just out of nowhere, nope, Fandango and somebody else.
The biggest question I've got is, why the fuck wasn't this at the Royal Rumble?
I don't know. Like, they had that match last week, and I would have sworn that was going to be going to the Royal Rumble. So, I mean, maybe Fandango will still face him at the Royal Rumble, but it's not going to mean as much when it's not the one where he's cashing in the contract that he won in a match, even if it was a pole match.
Shit, I would have been okay if Fandango won, and damn it.
No, so go Steven.
I wouldn't have minded if Fandango had won tonight and Big E had won it back at the Royal Rumble. Because honestly, after he hit that leg drop,
I thought it was done.
For a moment, I thought it was over. They suckered me in, so hats off to both guys.
Don't be surprised if Fandango wins the Rumble, wins the whole thing. Don't.
I'm the biggest Fandango fan here, and I don't think I could buy that one.
I'm just saying, it's a very big possibility he wins the Rumble.
No, it's not.
That there's no
Yes,
chance.
it is.
I don't even think he's going to be in the Rumble.
All right. Okay. Nobody said Dameon Sandow would win Money in the Bank.
No, I did. If you go back, I swear to God, I was the only one who said Dameon
You did.
Sandow.
I remember Drew's.
The only
Drew
one.
was the only one. You know what I think we're more likely to see from Fandango is, you know how we always have one really cool, not quite eliminated spot with like John Morrison or Kofi Kingston? I could see Fandango doing that this year. Doing some crazy Spider-Man type trick.
He lands on someone's back who's outside and he tap dances on them before jumping back in the ring.
He grabs onto Summer Rae's legs and climbs his way back up them into the ring.
But then he realizes what he's holding on to and forgets about the match.
He's like, oh wait, I already won. Fuck you guys. As far as who's winning the Royal Rumble, oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
I got some bad news for you. It ain't Fandango.
Well, listen, that actually transitioned us well into the next bit. We had Booker T coming out with a whole entourage of guys dancing with divas and some familiar faces there that might not be so familiar. We saw Alex Riley. There was Tyson Kidd. Yeah, it was shocking seeing those faces in there. But just as I thought this was just going to be a terrible, stupid pandering to the audience segment, out of nowhere, we see a lift bringing up Wade Barrett on his stand, all the way up into the air as he's slamming his mallet down and calling order. What does he say? Can we please have some decorum?
Wait. You called it a mallet. You finally learned.
Well, you just keep saying mallet, so now it's stuck with me. It is a gavel, though. But
that mallet.
It is a gavel.
It's a gavel. But he kept hitting it, and his bit was, you keep talking about how you're going to have a good new year. Well, I'm afraid I got some bad news. You're not going to be getting any new energies with the new year. You will continue to be wasteful and be fat, and whatever the hell else he said. That was probably nowhere near what he said, but essentially he was saying...
No, I think you just took his speech from like 2 weeks ago.
No, he goes on. He's like, there will be plague and pestilence, and the world will come to an end.
It's one more year closer to the apocalypse. That's what he said.
Right, like just totally crazy manned it. He crazy manned it.
I think this was the best Bad News Barrett yet. As soon as I saw him on the lift, I was like, you got to be kidding me. It was like the drummer from Rush. I was expecting the thing to like go to the air and start flipping upside down or something like that.
I think the lift lit a fire under his ass, but there's like, we're not going to let you down unless you cut the promo of your life.
No, I think they gave him power. Like, think of how cool you must feel being like lifted up onto something like that. You gotta be like, yeah, I know I look awesome.
Shit, maybe if we put Orton in a lift, his promos will get better.
And like the best thing about it was just how surprised he is. Like this whole thing's going on, and then it's all of a sudden out of nowhere, it just lifted up. I think that could be part of the gag. Like just out of nowhere, he just pops in. It's like, well, I'm afraid I have some bad news.
You know what was funny though? He started rising up. I was like, oh, he's on the lift, and it's going and going.
It kept going.
Holy shit, he's high.
They're going to start doing, like, different entrances. Eventually, he's going to come down from the ceiling like Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 12.
As long as it doesn't come down like Owen Hart.
Yes. Yeah. Don't pull an Owen Hart.
Then we're going to have some real bad news.
Don't pull an Owen Hart. Just don't do it.
That'd be some bad news.
That'd be some bad news indeed.
Well, at least we know he's taller. At least we know he's taller than the Raw general manager.
So
I'm
going to say at this point, Bad News Barrett, 3-1 so far.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
What's 3-1? Was there
Something else to point out during this whole weird segment, though. Did anybody else realize that Titus O'Neil was just carrying a giant jug of water? The hell was that?
Well, I remember watching one of those.
Stay hydrated.
I was watching one of those backstage segment once, and wasn't it something about Titus O'Neil how he just like constantly eats boxes of cereal?
Yeah, there's a story that that I've heard of that he constantly eats cereal backstage, just different types of cereal all the time.
Just like right out of the box. He just walks around with boxes of cereal, just handfuls, and he's got big hands, just handfuls and handfuls going into his mouth.
I bet Seth follows him begging.
No, he's looking for the scraps, picking up off the ground. Oh my god. So can I tell you guys, I work in concessions for the Army Black Knights, and today we had a basketball game, and there was a kid who came up asking for popcorn. And so the person went to go grab a bucket of popcorn, like the typical kind when you go to the movies. And as the person came back, I'm looking over at the kid, and he's looking down on the table where we have like the thing to ring people up and the till and all that. And there's little bits of popcorn that just got spilled from other people's orders before, and the kid's just picking them up off the table and eating it. Because he was too impatient to wait 3 seconds to get the bucket that he was purchasing. He had to eat it right off the table.
Oh, man.
Was he overweight, or was he just
he was actually
really wanting popcorn?
I think he just really wanted popcorn. He was actually kind of skinny. He looked like he was in good shape for a kid his age.
It reminds me that people did that all the time when I worked at the movie theater. I thought that was disgusting.
That's absolutely disgusting. That's so gross. Anyway.
Actually,
I just had to share that with you guys. Hopefully that kid isn't listening, and I'll be pissed that I blew up his spot on internet radio.
It's Justin.
We know where you live, kid.
Oh, maybe that's why Justin's all upset. Yeah.
But I'd like to see a combination of that whole thing with Titus O'Neil, where he can just carry around in one hand he's got a box of cereal, and the other hand, instead of a jug of water, he's just got a milk gallon. He's just like alternating hands. Take a swig.
That's his version of the gallon
cereal.
challenge. Like, yeah, a gallon of milk ain't enough, man. I need to balance it out with some Captain Crunch.
I would love to see him actually puke in GABL's hat. That would have been nice.
I know, wouldn't that be so funny?
Yeah. Well, they just freaking covered it up like it was nothing. Like,
well,
I know it was fake. Whatever.
You know what else was so funny? Another segment we didn't get to talk about last week, which was the sing-off or the carol-off, whatever the hell they called it. And thanks to that, thanks to his performance last week, we had a poll tonight on who was going to face against Dameon Sandow, and your nominees were The Miz, Kofi Kingston, and the winner, the Great Khali.
Yummy.
Well, that mid-card feud's getting those guys over.
Are they still facing each other?
Sort of, kind of, maybe.
You want to try to redeem Rootin' Tootin' Paden by doing an impression of Great Khali singing Christmas themes?
That's actually pretty good.
Well, it's not hard. I decide every year, whenever I hear someone actually caroling that song, I'm just gonna like walk up to the group and go fa ra 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 ra, fa ra 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 ra. I died in that segment. I actually kind of wish we had a show this week just so I could talk about that one alone. I almost fell out of my chair. However, the match we had this week between these two was not anywhere near as entertaining. Khali was sloppy as ever. As a matter of fact, when Sandow goes for the roll up, goddamn fucking roll up, Khali's elbow, or shoulder rather, is like a foot off of the ground. Which, he's a big guy, so it can happen, but it was literally like a foot off of the mat. It was nowhere close.
And Michael Cole and JBL had no choice but to acknowledge it.
Well, see, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, because it was so blatantly far off of the mat, but at the same time, this is the Khali we're talking about.
Well, luckily, with a heel winning, it's not too bad, where they can just say the referee was at position and Sandow won it by crook. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, Khali needs to get the fuck out of the ring. I'm sure his training school in India is going well. I'm sure we'll see many stars come out of that.
I just think it's sad that he was more graceful in the Longest Yard remake than he is in wrestling.
Because they can edit.
He can edit the fuck out of that.
But he was still more athletic in that movie than he's ever been.
I just think it's sad that he's not using all this star power he has to put over stars of the future like Jinder Mahal.
Don't hit him.
Jinder could turn face against him.
I think that the pinfall was planned. Because they mentioned it later on with Brad Maddox, too. Usually when it looks like they botch a pin, they don't tend to give that much attention to it. But they almost immediately mentioned it. And then they mentioned it later on in that whole big backstage thing where Brad Maddox was talking to Stephanie and Triple H, and it was like, I need to apologize because of this happened. I'm sure it's not going to happen again, and like all that other kind of stuff. I think that they planned that. And I think that if we probably looked back and paid attention to what happened instead of, watching it live or whatever, I wouldn't be too surprised if Dameon Sandow purposely moved Khali to do that.
Do we have do we know which ref that match?
The refs have names?
Well, there's black ref.
They had a segment earlier in the night where Brad Maddox was talking to a ref, and I just wrote down Brad Maddox is talking to ref. I don't know who the fuck it is anymore. Like, I used to know all the referees' names. I don't know who they are anymore.
Normally when they do something stupid with a ref, it's normally for a fuck finish later on down the line, so I'm just wondering.
Well, it wasn't Nick Patrick. Know that. Probably wasn't Earl.
Mike Chioda.
Probably wasn't Earl Hebner either.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He's in TNA.
He screwed Brett.
Really?
Yeah. Him and Bryan.
All right, guys, we got 2 more things I want to talk about before we wrap up tonight. The first one is what I'm sure everyone is going to be called the match of the night, a 10 Divas match. This was pathetic. They actually tried to have like headlocks and spine busters and actual wrestling moves in this, and it was just an absolute mess. And oddest of all, this match ends with Oksana, of all people, getting the pin. I didn't even know she had theme music.
Right?
Oksana had theme. Who knew?
Awkward as fuck theme music, though. Jeez. When that happened...
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like the Sexy Addams Family theme.
It's like Jessica Rabbit music. It's weird.
Yeah.
Can't be any worse than fucking Layla's theme music. I don't know if she's changed it these days.
Oh no, it's way better than Layla's theme.
I need to find a boy. Fucking, that was the worst.
I don't know. Anybody have anything they want to add about this fantastic 5-star Divas match we had?
I miss Summer Rae's old dress.
I actually kind of liked it. I'm dead serious. I actually kind of liked it. I thought that they did a better job than they usually do, especially after last week, that fucking horrible match that they had. Was it last week where they all hooked hands
the
together?
Jingles Bells, yes. Possibly the worst match of the entire year.
Yeah, especially after that, this was a major step up. Nikki Bella, I thought she looked pretty good. I mean, she, only wrestled for about 45 seconds or so, but those 45 seconds were better than she usually wrestles, and Oksana looked better than she normally does. Cameron and... who was it? Ava Marie and Alicia Fox. They kind of dominated the match. All 3 of them can be really botchy, and they didn't really mess up that much. There was one spot, though, that was fucking brutal, where Alicia threw Cameron down flat on her face.
Oh, yeah.
And, damn it, that looked like that hurt. Now, that
you know what? That reminded me of that match I believe was Candice Michelle had with Beth Phoenix, where Candice Michelle was up on the top rope, and Beth Phoenix knocks into the ropes, and Candice Michelle just falls right down onto her face, broke her clavicle bone, pretty much destroyed her career because she never picked back up after that.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I thought of too. The first thing I thought of immediately when Cameron hit that thing, I was just like, oh, injury right there. It's going to be Candice Michelle all over again. But I actually thought that this was kind of entertaining. It's a Divas match, so of course it wasn't great or anything. But when they keep it short and they just tell them to go out there, do the moves that you do know how to do, and don't fuck up, and they don't fuck up, then, golf clap. Good job, ladies.
I love how I call him cynical, so he's like, here, watch this, I'm going to praise this Divas match.
I don't buy it.
Think he's full of shit?
I think he's full of shit. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to end this on a good note, so we're going to talk about, something that didn't actually happen this week, what we got to look forward to next week, and that's, once again, Raw is going old school. Yes, I truly like these episodes. The first one they did, probably one of the most fun Raws to watch in a long, long time. Second one, it wasn't as in-depth. They didn't do as much for it, but it was still kind of cool. It seems like they're kind of throwing this together last minute, so I don't know if they're going to really go all out as they did for that first one, but it could still be a lot of fun. It's just kind of neat seeing the old graphic style things everywhere and the 80s style text flashing across the screen. It's neat.
If they go really in depth, it'd be in standard definition, not high definition. We all know that one.
Well, if they really want to go old school, we should all have to go to our local theater for closed circuit.
If they really want to go old school, then yeah.
If they really want to go old school, they should have Michael Hayes Bucket and Big E will have to drop out.
If they really want to go old school, they should twist their opponent's arm and then climb up to the top rope and walk along it.
If they really want to go old school, that's just name.
You know what? We're taking this way too far.
Okay. I was going to make a Territories joke, but I can't follow up the Undertaker one.
That Undertaker joke was too good.
Yeah, so guys, while we just go ahead and finish up tonight, we're going to be talking a lot about old school next week. I mean, is there anything in particular you guys hope to see? Any stars you hope to show up?
Ultimate Warrior.
Justin Hawk Bradshaw.
I was pulling for Aldo Montoya. I think that could be someone cool to just pull out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure they recently had one of those like alumni articles about him too, like one of those where are they nows, and I'm pretty sure it was like Olive Garden.
It was very serious. Where the fuck are they now? They don't know.
This is an APB. We need to know. We have some unpaid bills for him.
Let's pay Tamina to drag her daddy back in the ring. Let's do that. Well, if they pay Dusty Rhodes a whole lot of money, he'll be their Huckleberry all night.
All night. All right, guys, let's do our final bit here. We're going to go around to each person. You tell us your overall thoughts for tonight's Monday Night Raw and your high point and your low point. Drew, why don't you start us off?
Well, thankfully I recorded Raw, so I had to go see the Big E Langston thing just so I could see some of what, and I will give that my high point of the night. The low point of the night is going to be, I don't know, Erik Rowan because he's stupid.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Paul, your high point, low point, and your overall thoughts of tonight's show.
I think the high point of the night was all these new rivalries and alliances. I think we got introduced to a lot of new elements of the wrestling world tonight. Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatt family. We got Mark Henry versus Brock Lesnar, something we really haven't seen. We got Randy Orton facing John Cena. Yeah, that's the same, but I mean, we got a whole bunch of new talent in Fandango and Big E Langston, Dolph Ziggler versus oh God, who did he fight tonight? Somebody help
Curtis
me,
Axel.
please. Curtis Axel. We had a really great display of new talent tonight. I think they should keep rolling with that. It's a great way to go just to keep the fans, the new fans that are coming in and the old fans that are looking to see the young talent come up. It's a good way to keep them interested. I really liked tonight's show. I thought they put on a really good show.
Steven, your overall thoughts and your high point, low point.
Overall thoughts on Raw. I can't really judge it as a whole show totally because obviously I got home late and skipped all the shit that you guys told me to skip. So as far as what I watched, it was all pretty much solid. I really enjoyed the Big E Fandango match. It was a great story they told in the ring. The Seth Rollins and CM Punk match was fun. I've kind of seen those guys in some form or fashion in the ring before, so it wasn't as good as the Big E and Fandango match. Interested in seeing where they're going with the Daniel Bryan Wyatt family storyline. That's either going to be really good or really bad. And did I miss something, or was Randy Orton not on this show?
Randy Orton was not on the show, and neither was John Cena.
A lot of people weren't. Kane wasn't. He had that tribute to him with the mask, like Jason Todd's costume.
And they kept mentioning it all night.
Reason.
I was almost expecting Kane to like pop up at some point with how much they were saying. Yeah, Kane's not here. Kane's not here. Did you hear? Kane's not here.
He just walks in, says hi, and walks out.
It's from my understanding that in addition to Monday Night Raw, they also had a house show in Toronto. So they were doing 2 live shows tonight. So that's where all these other guys were.
Oh, that makes more sense. But as far as my high point, Justin lifting your mom on his dick, and my low point, again, I didn't watch too much to see a low point, but I'm going to go ahead and say just how fucking in your face and overly stupid that whole, so which one of you is the best Shield member shit was. That really irked me. So
we all know it's Roman Reigns. Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
We do.
Yeah.
But on a serious high point, I'm going to give it to Fandango and Big E.
Oh, very cool. Tony, why don't you tell us yours?
Low point, everything with Daniel Bryan tonight. The match and the end segment for Raw, all of that. I'm not a big fan of where they're going with this. I'm very hesitant to believe that this is going to turn out in a positive direction. High point, the whole Big E Langston versus Fandango thing. That whole segment, the match was really good. We got that stupid sign in the crowd that was funny. Summer Rae's outfit, just polar opposite from the Daniel Bryan thing.
All right, that'll bring it around to me. I'm going to say that Big E Langston and Fandango, definitely match of the night. However, I'm going to have to disagree with you, Tony. I'm going to say the high point of the night was Daniel Bryan being brought into the Wyatt family. This is big. this is huge, historic moment. It's definitely a big way to transition into the new year. This changes the course of everything. It's a game changer. I don't know how many more superlatives I could use for this. It's huge. So whatever this is going to be doing, whatever we just saw, it's important. And I don't think there's many times that we get to conclude a Raw and feel like we watched something that was important. And maybe you don't feel that way, Tony. You know, I guess it's subjective, but right now I feel like this is something big, and I can't wait to see where it's going to play out.
I think it's big, but I just think it's going to be a mistake.
And my low point, and it's actually something we didn't talk about too much here, but I guess there's not really too much to say. We had Stephanie McMahon announce our main event for Royal Rumble, a rematch between Randy Orton and John Cena. This time, just a plain old one-on-one match. Yeah, I was not very happy with that. And there's no rhyme or reason. I guess you could say John Cena has a rematch clause, so whatever. But I would have liked to see them done something a little more creative to find who the Royal Rumble opponent was going to be.
Contract on a pole match.
Mallet on a pole match.
All right, well.
Anything on a pole match.
Your Mama Justin match.
Summer Rae on my pole match. Yeah.
That ties them all together.
All right. Gonna go around here one last time, get everyone's final words and any plugs they want to put out there. Drew, why don't you start us off, man?
No plugs. I'm just going to wish everyone a happy New Year's. Stay safe and go fuck with your local pizza places because that's where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Nice. Paul, take over, dude.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Like I said before, I will be at Tailgaters in Muscadet, Wisconsin, celebrating the New Year's Eve. We're going to head off 2014 with a bang. I hope you're there. If you're not there, then I'm with you in spirit. Thank you guys for having me on the show again tonight. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate having you on, Paul. Welcome back. Steven, tell us what's good, dude.
Well, I'm probably going to be too shit-faced to do a show tomorrow, so I'm probably going to avoid doing that. As much as I want to talk about Anderson Silva missing his leg.
Oh, my goodness.
But that can be done for another show, another time. Maybe I can drink booze out of Anderson's leg. Who knows? But me and John are going to do Addicted to Anime this month now that I finally got out of the fucking retail schedule. So I'm expecting the next couple of weeks for us to announce the next episode of Addicted to Anime, which is going to be based on Sword Art Online. That's an anime that's based on basically a whole bunch of people trapped in an MMORPG, and if they die there, they die in real life. So it's interesting.
And Mr. Tony Mango.
All right, guys. My wrestling podcast is called Smack Talk. You can find that on YouTube and Stitcher and iTunes. It's a part of my wrestling website, smarkoutmoment.com. I also write for Bleacher Report, and there's lots of other things that aren't wrestling related under a mango tree as well. So if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and look it up and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera.
All right, everyone, if you enjoyed listening, we certainly appreciate you doing so, and make sure you join us every week live here on Mega Powers Radio for the Mega Powers Radio Monday Night Raw post-show. We start every week immediately following the conclusion of Monday Night Raw, so once that show goes off the air, you type in megapowersradio.com into your browser, and you're going to find us here live talking about it, where you can call in, submit into the chat room, whatever you want to do, get involved. If you can't make it, though, to see the live show, we are archived on many different places. You can find the show on smarkoutmoment.com, which is the #1 place to find it. You'll always find extra pictures and show notes and all those other types of added things to it. You can also go to YouTube, youtube.com/megapowersradio, or simply search for the MPR Raw Post Show on Stitcher Radio or iTunes. And listen, the conversation doesn't just stop here on Monday nights. You can talk to us anytime through the week on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Raw Post Show. Nice and simple. It's a new page. We just got it up and running, so please go and support us. Help us get that page growing. And also join our official Facebook fan group. It's facebook.com/groups/the Mega Maniacs. That's right. If you're a fan of us, you're in the Mega Maniacs. Facebook.com/groups/the Mega Maniacs. Once again, thank you everyone for listening. For Paul Hibbard, for Drew White, for Stephen Wago, and for Tony Mango, I'm Mike Paden. We'll see y'all next week here on the NPR Monday Night Raw Post Show.